We are the anchors of Queer News Tonight, and this evening we discuss the queer headlines. The Trevor Project received major funding and visibility through the inaugural Elton John Impact Awards. This happened with the support of Brandi Carlisle's foundation, helping expand critical suicide prevention services for LGBTQ youth.
Trans actor Zielke says the Scary Movie reboot offers a welcoming experience for trans audiences. It has humor aimed at prejudice and misunderstanding rather than trans identities themselves.
A new book recounts how Superior's main club became a safe haven and organizing hub, with owner Bob Jansen fostering LGBTQ community, activism, and broader civil rights efforts across the Northland.
Glenn Close will receive an honorary Oscar recognizing her acclaimed career. A longtime LGBTQ+ ally, she joins queer cinema producers Christine Vachon and Pamela Koffler among this year's honorees.
Bethany Christian Services has reversed its inclusive adoption policy, barring same-sex couples from fostering or adopting. Advocates condemn the move as discriminatory, warning it could deepen foster care shortages nationwide. All this important LGBTQ+ news and more this evening on Queer News Tonight. Welcome to Queer News Tonight. This is the world's first and only LGBTQ daily news television show, broadcasting live and available on demand on your favorite streaming channels. Analytics company vidIQ has certified the Queer News Tonight YouTube channel as the world's most popular LGBTQ streaming news show. Our queer stories have reached over 12 million views.
We are proud that Queer News Tonight has more YouTube subscribers than any other LGBTQ brand in Florida. We thank you for watching and supporting our voice in our rainbow family. There is no other news program in the LGBTQ world like Queer News Tonight.
It is Tuesday, June 16th. We are live and literally out of the closet and into the headlines. So many of your important stories we will tell this evening on Queer News Tonight.
You're watching Queer News Tonight, the world's first daily LGBTQ evening news show.
Welcome to the world's most important LGBTQ evening news show. Happening Out Television Network is a nonprofit 501c3 media company in the same model as PBS and NPR, but created for the LGBTQ community. Our nonprofit mission is to support the 11 pillars of our community. We want to inform and educate the key issues of lesbian, trans, Latino, Black, healthcare, seniors, students, faith, social justice, business, and queer culture. Help us support our diverse community.
We are part of one of the largest LGBTQ nonprofit media companies in America, Hotspots Happening Out, South Florida. In 2026, our magazine is celebrating 41 years of the LGBTQ experience, and Queer News Tonight is celebrating our 5th anniversary with more than 14,000 LGBTQ television stories. We present South Florida's major LGBTQ events, including Pride Fort Lauderdale, Stonewall Pride, and Pride Fete. Our magazine, events, television news, talk, and entertainment shows support our mission to educate the LGBTQ and broader community.
In 2026, more than 100 community leaders will sit at this table and share their voice as our anchors. Together we host this show to support the LGBTQ community. Let's meet this evening's anchors at Queer News Tonight. Let's welcome anchor Gregg Shapiro. An inductee into the Chicago LGBT Hall of Fame, Gregg is an entertainment journalist whose celebrity interviews and reviews run in a variety of regional LGBTQ publications and websites. Welcome to the show, Gregg.
Thank you so much. It's an honor and a privilege to be making this buddy movie with you, Bishop. I also want to wish you and all our viewers a happy National Fudge Day. sea salt caramel is my personal favorite
Yes.
for those who are interested. And of course, let's welcome tonight's lead anchor, Bishop Durrell Watkins, the senior minister at Sunshine Cathedral, one of the most important LGBTQ churches in the world. He is an auxiliary bishop of the Global Justice Institute and the current president of the Divine Science Federation. Welcome to the show, Durrell.
I'm always glad to be here. You left out that I was Miss Subway of 1952, but also I want people to know that on the last Sunday in June will be our Pride service at the Sunshine Cathedral. It's the same time as our normal services, but it's just going to be even gayer. We're going to really super gay it up on that last Sunday of the month. And also, this is the year that we're celebrating the Sunshine Cathedral's 55th anniversary, and mine and Robert's 20th anniversary in leadership here. So yeah, it seems like we just got here yesterday, and it's already been a third of my life so far, and more than a third of the church's life.
Amazing milestones.
I'm Bishop Durrell Watkins, and let's queer up gay culture. Rocket Man's Reach, the Trevor Project honored at the Elton John Impact Awards. The Trevor Project is celebrating a major milestone after being selected as a marquee beneficiary of the first ever Elton John Impact Awards. Broadcast as an iHeartRadio audio special and hosted by icons Billy Porter and Elvis Duran, the event honored a stellar lineup of queer cultural trailblazers, including Chapel Roan, Laverne Cox, and Jonathan Bailey. But the night was about more than just star power. Thanks to a generous matching partnership with Brandi Carlisle's Looking Out Foundation, the event generated critical grant funding directly for the Trevor Project's life-saving suicide prevention and youth crisis services. The special also featured a stunning tribute performance of Your Song by Dove Cameron. Organizers say this massive wave of visibility and financial support couldn't come at a more vital time as the organization works around the clock to protect vulnerable youth. What a shame that there has to be organizations to protect queer youth. Now, obviously, there's always going to be someone on the street, someone who has a drug problem, someone who's looking for housing, there's always going to be that. But right now, people need protection even from their own government, from their families, from their churches. And so thank God for these humanitarian, loving, kind, generous people. We do need them, but it's also heartbreaking that we need them as much as we do and that we need them right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's unbelievable. And we have to be grateful to Elton John for his many years of generosity and activism, and also grateful to Brandi Carlisle, too. She has started one as well. And I'm hoping that they can actually share some of that wealth with other LGBTQ organizations in need. I'm thinking about like the Stonewall National Museum and Archives here in South Florida. And I mean, it's nice that they're doing this kind of thing. It's also nice to see Billie Jean King in there. Billie Jean King and I were both inducted into the Chicago LGBT Hall of Fame in 1999. We were inducted in the same year. Yeah,
that's amazing.
But it's great to see Elton doing this work.
Yeah, and he's from the beginning when he was from the beginning of the AIDS crisis, and then the Trevor Project has been on the scene for I remember doing a It Gets Better video over a decade ago, I think. And so it's I mean, thank God for them. This is a rough time for LGBTQ people. It's a rough time for LGBTQ youth. Yeah. But we are going to keep organizing. We're going to keep defying the odds. We're going to keep loving each other into wholeness. And of course, some of that takes a lot of money. And these people are raising it and making sure that it's going in the right places. So bless you, John. Bless you all. This is a good thing you're doing.
I'm Gregg Shapiro, and let's queer up entertainment. Trans scary movie star Bethany Zielke says film creates a safe space for trans audiences. Trans actor Bethany Zielke says the upcoming Scary Movie reboot offers a welcoming experience for trans viewers, though there were concerns about how the film would handle queer themes. Speaking to Out, Zielke admitted that he initially worried after reading the script. He said, quote, "Honestly, I had the same kind of fear when I got the full script. I was like, is it going to be okay?" End quote. The actor, who plays Jess, the trans son of a sheriff portrayed by Lachlan Monroe, said the comedy targets people who misunderstand or oppose trans identities rather than trans people themselves. Quote, "So if you're a trans person and you're like, I want to see this, but I don't want another triggering piece of media. I really think this is a safe space for that, end quote. He added that unlike previous roles in heavy or stressful stories, this film allows trans characters to be in on the joke. Co-writer Marlon Wayans, who has a trans son, said the storyline reflects his own family experience and focuses on acceptance while finding humor in everyday situations. The film has sparked mixed reactions following a non-binary joke featured in its trailer. I'm not sure how it happened, but as a film critic, I have somehow missed reviewing any of the movies in the Scary Movie series, even though I love Regina Hall. Regina Hall is like my goddess, and I think she's a brilliant comedic actor. And so in this situation, I'm going to have to take Benny Zielke at his word and trust that he knows what he's talking about. But meanwhile, the movie has a 23% rating on Rotten Tomatoes, so it's not great.
Well, it was never going to be Wuthering Heights. You know what I mean? Like it was,
Yes.
It has a particular genre audience. But I will tell you this, that I absolutely worship Marlon Wayans. And not just because he's a comedic genius, and not just because he has a smile that could melt an iceberg, but also because he must be one of the best dads in the world. He has come out swinging for his kid, and he's not hearing anything to the contrary. Like, nope, this is my kid, and this is how it is. And in the beginning, he would get his words twisted up. He wasn't like the perfect language, but he had the perfect idea. And of course, the other stuff's getting better too. But yeah, like may everyone have a father, or even a parent, like Marlon Wayans. It's also good to see trans representation. We've seen some good stuff over the years with, cis people playing trans, trying to do the best. But we actually have quite a few trans. We even had trans actors back in the day, but we didn't know. They were so kind of in the closet about it, and they just passed or whatever. But now we have out and loud, not genderqueer and non-binary and trans people. And I love that. Yeah. So if it takes if it takes kind of a marginal movie, but gives us that kind of representation, I'll give it some grace points.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm Durrell Watkins, and let's queer up the USA view. New book highlights gay bar that helped spark LGBTQ rights movement in northern Minnesota. Minnesota LGBTQ plus history is often centered on the Twin Cities. But a new book is shining a spotlight on a movement that grew in northern Minnesota and neighboring Wisconsin. Remember the Maine, the gay bar that started a movement in the Northland, chronicles the story of Bob Jansen and the Maine Club, a gay bar that opened in Superior, Wisconsin in the 1980s. Author Meg Gorzicki says the venue became a refuge and organizing hub for queer people during a time when openly identifying as gay often carried significant risks. Jansen opened the bar after winning a legal settlement following his dismissal from a job for being gay. According to Gorzicki, the Maine Club became more than a nightlife venue, serving as a gathering place for community building, advocacy, and coalition building efforts. Gorzicki described Jansen as, quote, a social worker with a liquor license, end quote, crediting him with helping connect people and inspire activism across the region. The book also explores broader civil rights struggles in northern Minnesota during the 1970s and 1980s, including battles against discrimination, sexual violence, and barriers facing LGBTQ plus people, women, Native Americans, and other marginalized communities. The book will be out this month. I love these stories. I love the stories because they remind me of my story. I was a little hillbilly fag, and the first time I walked into, I swear to God, it was called BJ's. I wonder what it stood for. And then the second one was called Our House Lounge, and then the third was called The Gig. And it was supposedly, they said it stood for gay interest groups, but everyone said no, it stands for Get It Girl. But anyway, but these were like pilgrimages, because this was in my case the 80s, and in the Bible Belt, the Arkansas mountains, and so that we even had such a thing. You know what I mean? There sometimes wasn't a sign outside, there wasn't a light. It was super clandestine. But once you got inside, it was like that tent in Harry Potter where you walk in this little tent and suddenly there's this palace inside. It was like
Entering Oz.
Yes, it was magical.
Yeah.
And so I'm glad, but so that's what this rural area but people find this safe place and then they thrive. And gay bars, which are declining, by the way, gay bars. I'm very sad about that. But they are so much a part of our history. They were our safe place. That's where we found each other. That's what birthed other organizations. In fact, in 1969, the Metropolitan Community Churches were started as a open space, a religious place for gay people, by gay people, and their allies. And a lot of those early churches started in gay bars. No bar was open at 11 o'clock Sunday morning. And so sometimes they would rent it out, sometimes they give it. But bars even helped queer churches, which were part of the movement. So when of course, New York and San Francisco and Boston, I'm glad there's so many, but if you got something in northern Minnesota, central Arkansas, Montana, West Virginia, those places were lifesavers.
Yeah, churches started, community centers often started in bars because it was a place where everybody could gather. So I am so thrilled that books about queer bars are becoming so popular. And I'd like to make some recommendations
I was about to say, do you ever review
others for viewers to add to their TBR list.
Oh, I'll see.
Dugan's Bistro and The Legend of the Bearded Lady by Owen Keenan is fabulous. Dugan's Bistro was sort of Chicago's version of Studio 54.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Moby Dyke. An obsessive quest to track down the last remaining lesbian bars in America by Krista Burton. Fantastic book.
Gotta have that one.
This is one of the newest ones. The Lesbian Bar Chronicles, the living history and hopeful future of America's dyke dives and sapphic spaces by Rachel Karp.
Love the word sapphic.
Who Needs Gay Bars? Bar Hopping Through America's Endangered, as you said, LGBTQ plus places by Gregg Matson. And of course, the two books co-written by my husband, Rick Harlan, with Saint Suki Delacroix and Fred Feges, respectively. That's Last Call Chicago, a history of 1,001 LGBTQ-friendly taverns, haunts, and hangouts, and Last Call South Florida, a history of 1,001 LGBTQ-friendly taverns, haunts, and hangouts. And the third book in this series, Last Call Boston, is coming out, I believe, in 2027. So It's really exciting. And now he's working on one about DC. So it's great to see that these books about the gay bars are being read, they're being published, they're being written. I think it's an important part of our history.
Yeah. I also remember in the 80s and early 90s, the AIDS epidemic. For those of us of a certain age, that was completely formative if you lived through it. Then it shaped who you became. And I remember $1 at a time, one drink at a time, raising money for AIDS organizations, sometimes for individuals who needed a funeral or whatever. And drag queens would donate their tips, bartenders would donate their tips, people would charge an extra buck at the door and give that. It was more than a place to hang out. It was more than a place to dance or pick up somebody, although all those things are good. But it was also a place, it was a place where community was built and where we tried to save each other. And, somebody, all of a sudden, this poor guy who's always at the bar Friday night, he's not there anymore. And so, word would get around, I think he's in the hospital or whatever. And it was a way you heard about information.
For sure.
It was, maybe it's just nostalgia, not practical, but gay bars just were so formative for me. I hope they never fully go away. Everyone should have the joy that I felt the first time I walked into a gay bar.
Same here. I'm Gregg Shapiro, and let's queer up entertainment. Academy celebrates Glenn Close and queer cinema producers at Governor's Awards. Glenn Close is set to receive an honorary Oscar, ending her distinction as one of the most nominated actors never to win a competitive Academy Award. The Academy announced the honor for the 79-year-old actor, praising her career and saying, quote, "Throughout her extraordinary body of work, Glenn Close's unparalleled emotional range has brought to life some of the most complex characters in cinema," end quote. Close earned 8 Oscar nominations, including for The World According to Garp, Fatal Attraction, and Hillbilly Elegy, but without a competitive win. She is an LGBTQ plus ally who portrayed a 19th century transgender butler in Albert Nobbs and has advocated for casting transgender actors in transgender roles. The Academy will also honor acclaimed filmmaker Ridley Scott and pioneering animator Floyd Norman. Meanwhile, producers Christine Vachon and Pamela Koffler, known for queer film landmarks including Carol and Boys Don't Cry, will receive the Irving G. Thalberg Memorial Award. All honors will be presented on November 15th at the Governor's Awards in Hollywood. Glenn Close, I think the first time I'd ever seen her was in The World According to Garp, which is one of my favorite movies, and it was an amazing performance. She was also fantastic playing a lesbian in Serving in Silence, the Marguerite Camermeyer story, as well as in the early AIDS movie in The Gloaming. But Hillbilly fucking Elegy, based on that lying sack of shit J.D. Vance's fake memoir, I still haven't forgiven her for that.
Right.
I'm not sure I ever will. I mean, I think Sigourney Weaver is far more deserving of an honorary Oscar. I mean, did you see her in Aliens and Jeffrey? Come on.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, and Jeffrey.
Yes,
lots of great cameos in that. But well, God bless her for that eulogy elegy foolishness. But I remember her the first time I ever saw anything about her. My roommate was a lesbian. For that matter, my wife was a lesbian. But my roommate in college was a lesbian. And I just remember I was watching The Big Chill for like the 17th time. And there's this time where she just breaks down in the shower. She's just crying. Yeah. But she had seen it. If I'd seen it 17 times, she'd seen it 50 times. So she heard the shower and she comes running into the room saying, Glenn Close's titties! Oh, no.
We literally have her scene, really? You're focusing on her boobs?
We were young and queer. But the Jagged Edge.
Oh, I know.
Oh, that
scary.
That was scary. And she was so badass. And The World According to Garp, fabulous. That she raped the guy in a hospital bed. Oh, you got to forgive people sometimes.
She wanted to have a kid.
She got a kid out of it. And that was one of those times where this person plays a trans person, did a great job. But, it was way back when. Yeah. Now we have real trans representation, thank goodness. And Fatal Attraction. Fatal Attraction really, really got it. Do you know I've only seen it once? I couldn't see it again. Because it's so intense.
The rabbit on the stove.
But because of the time it came out, I just assumed, I don't know, that it was a metaphor for AIDS.
Oh.
And it was so fucking me up. I could not, I've seen it once, changed my life, but I've never seen it again.
I hadn't thought about it in that way. That's amazing. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like this is what you get when you, oh my God. Okay, that's terrible. Terrible. Sorry. I just can't get over the rabbit on the stove.
Right. So I will not be ignored. But it's she was scary. She does scary well, but then she suddenly does a guest bit on Will and Grace, and I love the facts. I married 3 of them. I mean,
right. She could definitely do comedy.
She can do comedy. She can do drama. She can do scary. She is amazing. Yeah. Yeah. I would watch her playing Batman. Oh, what was the recently thing? It was a Netflix thing or whatever. The Southern Detective, and they come out with a new thing every once in a while. Well, anyway, I wish I knew the name. Spontaneity is so horrible. What? Yes.
Yes.
The third Knives Out. We have
Daniel Craig.
Yes. The third Knives Out. She's amazing in that. And she's this 1,000-year-old, little church biddy. But this guy's totally in love with her from the shed or whatever. Yeah, she can do anything. She can play Superman. I love her so much. I because of that. Oh, and what was that other movie about a scary house? And she was like she was a really sort of promiscuous grandma, but who had found Jesus in the middle of her cancer and whatever. But she was still picking up dudes at the cancer clinic.
Cookie's Fortune? Because it was an Altman movie she was in.
I don't know. It's only a couple of years ago. But anyway, I'm saying she can do demon possessed. She can do naked in the shower. She can kill the bad guy at the end of a movie. She can be the bad guy in another movie.
Williams' mom,
yeah, she is. So I'm going to forgive her for LG. Although, if it was anybody else,
not me.
It would not be forgivable. I'm Durrell Watkins, and let's queer up faith. Policy reversal. Bethany Christian Services restores ban on LGBTQ plus parents. Bethany Christian Services has announced it is rolling back its 2021 policy of inclusion, reinstituting a strict ban on same-sex couples looking to foster or adopt children. The Michigan-based Evangelical Agency, which operates in more than 25 states, that's half our country, has updated its foundational statement of faith to explicitly define marriage as a covenant between one man and one woman. Under the newly implemented guidelines, all regional staff and prospective foster families must sign and align with this biblical doctrine it's not a biblical doctrine, by the way, by June 2027 in order to remain with the organization. Civil rights organizations have swiftly condemned the reversal as a discriminatory step backward that weaponizes religious doctrine against qualified parents. However, the agency's leadership defends the decision, stating the policy shift is vital to reinforce its core Christian identity. Advocates warn the ban will worsen the ongoing foster care crisis by turning away stable, welcoming homes. I don't even know where to start, y'all. I don't even know where to begin. I'm so furious. First of all, this biblical principle, horseshit. Because here's why. There's no biblical principle. Because the Bible is multivocal. There's no one voice from the Bible. It covers hundreds and hundreds of years. It covers 3 continents. It covers 3 languages. It's different people write different things to different audiences with different vocabularies and different idioms. And plus, none in a language that most of us speak. So we have translations of translations of translations. There are no original documents. And so when you say this biblical principle, no, that's like saying the public library's principle. There's no such thing. So people negotiate with the text to give some authority to their prejudices, but that is not the same thing as the Bible being a thing that says a thing. The Bible is not a thing that says a thing. Let's see, what was the next thing that I'm furious about? I had to write some of these down so I would not forget. Anti-gay is not a Christian value. Bigotry is not a religious value. It's just not. Because the Bible says this or that. First of all, every Bible verse, if you even know the 6 of them, and I do, that you could cough up, I can immediately deconstruct because it's always in the context of exploitation or violence. Love, affection, commitment, never, ever, ever condemned. And so what if it was? Because the Bible isn't univocal. So who cares if one person thought a thing? But it's the only like that. Love is never, ever condemned in the Bible. And biblical marriage is one man and one woman. Well, I'm so glad Solomon, with his 700 wives and 300 concubines and one night stand with the Queen of Sheba, didn't know that. And polygamy, and I'm so glad that Abraham, selling his sister wife off to someone's harem and then getting her back, I'm so glad he didn't know that. And Moses with his 2 wives, and Jacob with his 2 wives and his wife's 2 maids that he also had rights to, and Abraham with his concubine, his slave that he basically forced to have sex so he could have a kid, and then the real wife that he had sold into a harem earlier. What? I wish you would talk to me about biblical marriage. Oh my God. So no, and P.S. no. Oh, did I mention Tamar, who posed as a prostitute and seduced her father-in-law so that she could have a baby because her husbands kept dying? Oh my God. I wish you would talk to me about biblical marriage. So it's all horse shit anyway. But they count on people not knowing that. They count on people not having spent 10 years in seminaries getting various degrees. But no. So no. Okay, wait a minute. I'm going to calm down a little bit because I still have a list. This is a little secret. There are gay Christians. Here's another little secret. There are gay Christians who are not horrible people. There are Christians who aren't gay, but they aren't horrible people. And they love themselves some gay people. There are there are denominations that affirm and welcome and celebrate LGBTQ plus people. There are denominations, I have credentials in one of them, that were started by and for LGBTQ plus people and their loving families and allies. And how about this? There is an entire field of queer theology. I'm teaching queer theology class right now, and I had to stop because I just got tired. But in the notes that I'm sharing over 4 weeks, it has 10 pages of queer theologians and their theologies. And I just randomly stopped. I mean, that 20 pages could be 60 pages, 70 pages, 80 pages. There's a whole field of queer theology, and it's kind of my bailiwick. So, and here's another thing. Oh my God. Robert and I fostered a gay kid. He was gay. He came that way. But,
Because we can't make them.
Right. You can't make, please. I was surrounded by straight people. I watched every straight movie. I saw every teenage couple kiss on TV, whatever. I was mostly nauseated by it, but it didn't make me anything other than I am, because that's how that works.
Yeah.
Which, P.S., by the way, and also, the American Pediatric Association and the American Psychological Association are unanimous across their scholars and experts that that parents' sexual orientation has no impact, zero, on how the child will develop. Just like my straight parents had zero impact on my being a queer person. So sorry about that. Let's see. Oh, I've got more. Wait, don't give up on me. If it's got to be straight people married together, one man, one woman, what about single parents? What about divorced and remarried parents? What about people who work at women's clinics where they're performing abortions? Mm-hmm. What about women who, when they were younger, had an abortion? What about? So this targeting same-sex loving people, that's nothing but prejudice, and blaming it on the Bible, blaming it on God, blaming it on Christianity. You can blame it on the rain, Milli Vanilli, but you just made it up.
Yes.
You've just fucking made it up, and it really gets me going. It really grinds my gears. So anyway,
well,
no.
it's sickening.
It is sickening. NPS, the American Psychiatric Association, took homosexuality off their list of disorders in 1973. Yes. It's been way too long to pretend you don't know. So this is, why don't you say something, because I just can't anymore.
Well, I hope that other agencies don't follow this horrible.
Some will, in the name, I mean, secular maybe not, but these religious ones.
And by the way, it's pronounced Michigan, just for the record.
Maybe malicious skin.
Yes.
So no, this is
terrible, and
the
kids are going to suffer.
There are children who won't have families now.
And that's the thing. If they think that this is Christian behavior, why would you make a child suffer?
Our kid came to us late. The stork brought our kid. He was already a teenager, but because he landed in our home, he now has a college education. That wouldn't have happened otherwise. And I mean, it just wouldn't have. And so, because he was from another country and, whatever. So, and he couldn't get a visa to stay here for university. So we had to send him to the UK. Now, where's that going to happen? Like gay people who have the resources and just love people.
Absolutely.
And so this person now has a British bachelor's degree because he landed in the laps of gay people. Now, he was gay too, so it's even super special. But even if he weren't, we would have done the same thing. So you can't foster because the person you love and are committed to.
It's crazy.
I can't.
It's crazy.
I can't.
Yeah.
So, y'all, I hope
they regret it. I hope they will come.
I just hit my microphone. My producer's going to swear at me. But it's bullshit.
Yeah.
And I'm preaching to the choir. I'm talking to gay folks, but and their allies and trans folks. So we know it's all bullshit. But really, I have the equivalent of a master's degree in theology. I then have a master of divinity in theology. I then have a doctor of ministry in theology. And I get about 30 clock hours of continuing education every year. I promise you that all of this is just I don't even say homophobia anymore. It's homo-hatred and trans-loathing. And it's all rooted in misogyny at that. This has nothing to do with scripture, nothing to do with faith, nothing to do with God, nothing to do with tradition, nothing to do with morality. In fact, it is on its face immoral.
That's the truth.
These are today's headlines from Queer News Tonight. Our anchors represent the best of our LGBTQ family. If our community is important to you, share this news with your friends and family. Don't forget to join the conversation on your favorite streaming platform.
Queer News Tonight is the only live LGBTQ digital television show in the world that is out of the closet and into the headlines. We need your support. If our community is to grow and thrive, we must tell our stories and bring them to the attention of the broader world. This is the only place in the world that tells these types of LGBTQ stories in motion and sound. Hotspots Magazine, Happening Out Television Network, and Queer News Tonight.
I'm your anchor, Bishop Durrell Watkins, and I thank you for joining us on behalf of my fellow LGBTQ anchor. I think he's just a couple of those letters. And tonight, that means Gregg Shapiro. We'll see you daily at 8 p.m. To our LGBTQ world, we wish you a good night.